I wish I could do that at work. I wish someone would start talking to me. I'd just be like, "Nice to see you," and just go walk away. We don't have to do this. We don't need to have this conversation. How was your weekend? Good. Mine was fine. Nice to see you.
PJ, you want to go? You want me to take it over?
No, I go. I go. Unless I'm an idiot. Jeez. That's why we don't do it on Mondays. Totally fried already.
Guys getting processed at CVS.
What's the turnaround time on this? A week? That's not going to work.
It was half his vacation at Disney World, half following a dangerous assassin around the world. Hey guys, welcome in and thanks for joining us for episode 12 of Whiskey Flix. Today my brothers and I will be pairing Stone IPA with the Sandlot. Throw it over to Taylor when you're ready, buddy. Talk about some Stone IPA.
Awesome. So I love Stone IPA. This is, one of the first beers I've ever actually had to get me into IPAs. So like this one and Dogfish 60 and 90 minute are by far my sort of standards for all other IPAs. I do love the West Coast style. I know, PJ, you want to talk about the iconic West Coast style. But I love a hoppy bitter beer. I really do. I also love my hazies. I love my juicy IPAs, but a nice switch is always a classic West Coast style IPA. This is one of the better ones.
Awesome. What do you got, P?
I totally agree. It's good. It's really good. If you want to drink an IPA to start out like first time, this is not a bad one to start out with. It's going to give you the flavor. It's going to let you know what IPAs are, kind of all about. I guess it is specifically a West Coast style IPA, but I feel it is a good intro IPA in general. Flavor is there. It's also for an IPA. For me, it's pretty. It's not overly heavy. Because now you get IPAs that you have your doubles and your imperials and your triple imperial. It's like okay, it's like 50% alcohol with 9 billion pounds of hops in it. This is a very it's a clean, smooth, easy to drink. I guess say IPA for me. So I enjoy it. It's good.
Yeah, super good. So yeah, it kind of is the iconic West Coast style. It did kind of set the precedence for what was to be a West Coast style IPA. I think that this now, it's pretty cool to go back and try this now because West Coast kind of progressed and made, in my mind anyway, it became a real style of its own and more than what this is. This has a lot more malt, a lot more sweetness to it than what I think of when I think of a West Coast IPA now. I think more now they're more fruit, more grapefruit, more tropical fruit notes. This has it's well balanced, but not overly well balanced in the best way possible. The finish on this gives you that hop finish, which I like. It's that nice, you're drinking something, but it's super well made. It's really good. I think they use 6 different hops in this one. And they're done in the exact right way. Super tasty. I'm really happy that we went back and tried this again because I haven't had it in a very long time, and it's really good.
It's a good one to go back to.
I haven't had it in a long time, which I think is why when I said it's more balanced or however I said it, because IPAs now, or at least the ones I have, I usually go for a double or this, I'm always going huge over the top. So it's nice to go back to something that isn't that extreme. But like you said at the time, it was whoa, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But now you go back and it's oh, this is okay. You appreciate it more because of where I guess IPAs in general have gone.
Yeah.
And what this started. So it's great. I want to talk about the gargoyle is
iconic.
It is like, I mean, it's in terms of a label and something that you identify with. I mean, they nailed it. It's genius, and it's really cool. The bottle itself, I like. I mean, not the bottle, but I mean the gargoyle, and I'm big on font and stuff. Like it's just very well done. Like it jumps out at you. Like if you were like if I was looking just visually and I saw that and knew nothing about beer, like I would gravitate towards it. I think it's a good job.
Simple, clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even the green they use, I think, is somehow. I know it's like I don't know if I can get the can. I got the can though.
I know. I saw you
it's
drinking.
Tough
That's
with
awesome.
Oh, there you go. That was better.
There. Oh yeah. It's tough with the background. So I got the can, but the black can with the green font and it's awesome. It's super recognizable, and yeah, Stone has their marketing down. I mean, it's obviously why they blew up to be the first major microbrew, but yeah, their packaging and everything is spot on.
That's why the iconic thing stinks. It is very pretentious to have it on the bottle, but when it's true, it's true. So you just kind of got to give it up, you know?
It's fair.
I mean, honestly, after talking about it, I've softened on it. Like, I don't need to see it.
Right. It's a lot.
But then again, I don't need to see it, but maybe other people do.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I get it, you know, but I mean, it's a great point, and
it's a way for them to stay relevant, no? Somebody who's 22 years old, 23 years old, just getting into beer sees, what do you mean the most iconic?
And now the thing is, I probably caught this at the last possible time to catch it and still be able to, I don't know how I want to word it, but now there's so many other options for drinking anything. You know, it's all fruity stuff. It's all, and even like now, like the number of people who are coming in looking for sours, like, so it's just like it's just going away from that West Coast style IPA. It's great for someone who wants to get into IPAs, but it's also not as easy as other IPAs are to drink right now. It's definitely a real thing. Like if you miss this and you don't get it and you start drinking other things and then you came back to this and you didn't know what to expect from it, you may not like it at all. So to get in, so like you said, Mike, to stay relevant is probably a thing. And yeah, like a 21 or 22-year-old, if they don't catch Stone IPA, like at that early age, it may never catch on with them.
Right, because this is going to be weird to even say this next to Stone IPA, but this is an entry-level IPA, right? I guess it's not weird to say. I guess it is the entry-level IPA.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's like when I talk to people in my industry and we talk about people who come out to dinner, we always say that you should have to work in a restaurant for a year before you go out to eat ever. I think that somebody who drinks IPA should have to drink a Stone or a 90 or a 60 before they can drink anything else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just so they don't start off with a juicy hazy and say, that's what an IPA should taste like. No, it's not.
No, it tastes
like this.
And that I do agree with. I love my juicy, I love my hazies, but that's 100% factual. If you don't get started with what an IPA should be, then you're really just lost of what it should be. And then, when you do eventually get out to California or you eventually start to try all those big hop bombs, then you're not going to know what the heck you're supposed to be tasting. Yeah. And it's becoming a thing. So Stone's huge. They don't have a problem selling product, but it could become a thing if seltzers keep on going and if all these fruited beers and all that crazy stuff really catches on. West Coast IPAs could be one of the first to go.
I agree with that. It's a really good call.
I don't think it would, but it could be a real thing.
A review of Stone IPA. PJ, why don't you go ahead and take this one?
Okay, so review. This is a very strong 4. It's maybe I'm not giving it enough credit by not giving it a 5, but it's a 4 for me. I love it. It's tasty as hell. It's hard. I respect the fact that it is something that started something. I mean, that's important, which is why, maybe not giving it a 5 is kind of ridiculous because it did start a whole West Coast, like it is the one that you would look to as the perfect representative of a West Coast IPA. But strong 4, it's tasty, never disappointed. Also never, like I said, like if it's on a beer list and there's nothing else on there that like jumps out, I'm never like disappointed that I have to have like a Stone IPA. I'm like, this bar's still good. Like they still have a good beer selection. So strong 4, love it. Would drink it all the time if I could.
I like it.
What do you think, Dal?
I have to agree. I'm glad that PJ started off and said the strong 4 because I was definitely in between, but I think that's fair. I think a strong 4 is a fair rating. I think it's a 5 based on the fact, like you touched upon, PJ, just what it did to craft beer. I guess it would be worthy of a 5, but just, if I was blind tasting it, I think that this is definitely a strong 4 with no backstory behind it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's super awesome. It's great to go back to it, especially just like after drinking fruit bombs and everything else. It's good to go back to the standard and to remember what IPAs were at one point. So
a simpler time.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a simple beer, but it's always a satisfying beer to drink. So I think a great pair, especially for baseball. I love Stadiums, the 19-ouncer.
Yes.
If you could get your mitts on that, I'm sure at a Padres game you could probably get your hands on a 19-ounce Stone IPA for a game, and that would definitely be something to do. So I think it's a great baseball pairing. And yeah, strong 4, it's delicious. Always love going back to this one.
That's fantastic. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5. When we first got the 6-pack in the house, I didn't open any until this morning, but my initial reaction was I'm going to give it a 4. I said right off the bat, I just saw it and I was like, wow, I haven't had this in a while. It's getting a 4. I remember it being what it was. I mean, it's the reason why I initially wanted to move out to San Diego too, was to work for them. It's like they drew me out here. So it had that going on. So when I've been tasting it again, I was like, yep, 4. After opening it, trying it, and just talking about it for the past few minutes, it's a 5, man. It's the foundation. It's the foundation of what the IPA scene is now. Thank you very much, Stone, for doing that. Yeah. This is a great thing to go back to and try again, just to remember what they should be, what they were, why they became what they are, why it allowed people to create what they're creating at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And I think they deserve a 5, and it's definitely a 5 for me, for sure.
I'm going to read your thoughts.
Initial thoughts on the Sandlot. Taylor, take it.
All right, so initial thoughts, my first 2, well, no, I'll give you my first one because the second's kind of overall. So it starts off with an iconic intro. I think it's fair to say, right? It's a pretty cool intro. I love that, and that just sort of starts with the music of the movie. I think that the soundtrack is awesome, and that intro definitely sort of sets the tone for the rest of the movie. But no, this one for me is it's so great. This one's nostalgia, of course, being made in '93, and then just seeing it from an early age. It's great. I didn't notice, or I never knew that IMDb only scored it a 7.8, and Metacritic has a 55, I believe. Yeah. Somewhere in the 50s, super low, which I was very surprised about. I didn't know that was a thing.
Rotten Tomatoes after that 62.
Really? See, and I don't know. Again, I know I'm biased, but I totally disagree with that. I think this is, I don't know. It's awesome. I love this movie. Could watch it over and over again. And this is just that summer movie for me. As soon as summer hits, like I want to watch this movie at least once. Like at least once a summer, this is a movie I want to watch.
I agree. This movie made me think about what I've been doing our past 11 episodes with the movies. Like we talked about briefly last week. I wasn't sure how I was rating. I thought I was trying to be like a rater, a movie guy who watched the movies and picked them apart and like could tell you exactly what you're seeing and give you a true, honest rating. This one made me realize that I just want to do it based off of like how the movie makes me feel and what, I like about it, and not trying to be anybody like a Rotten Tomatoes or any of those guys, you know. This one is fun. It's so much fun. It's like it's right back to childhood, and it made me think immediately: do kids still do this? Like, I hope that kids are still doing this. I hope they're able to put the phone
somewhere,
down.
right? But
right?
mostly you would think, but really, like you would think no. Like again, like the same with the Stone IPA and me catching it at the right time. Like I really think like my age, not my generation because it sort of spans a little too long, but like growing up when I did, like it has to be the last kids who were ringing doorbells and playing catch. Now it's no way that someone's ringing doorbells now, and like I don't know.
Man. I hope you're wrong, dude, because I remember the same
I hope so too.
Summer, I mean, I was thinking about it last night. 9:30 in the morning, we would get to the baseball field, pool field, the one by the community pool.
Yeah.
And we would be there from 9 until lunch. We'd break for an hour, come back after lunch, be there until dark, go to dinner, and that was your day. And you just play all day. You just play baseball all day, and it was amazing. Like, that's the great, and yeah, it was ringing doorbells. It was coming over and can Mike come out? Yeah, of course. And then we go out and we play. I hope kids are still doing it. If they're not, then if we have one parent that watches this, start a revolution, get your kids to go out and start doing it, because it is necessary.
It is
totally necessary. It is. That's why I loved it. I watched it last night. I was like, I want to be 12 years old again.
Makes me like want to just like honestly, as soon as you watch it, I was just like, man, I want to get like a bunch of guys just go play wiffle ball right now.
Exactly.
like round robin real quick.
No, so I'm just going to basically say the same things you guys did, but I want to start out with a quote, real quick. People underestimate the power of nostalgia. Nostalgia is truly one of the greatest human weaknesses, second only to the neck. Dwight K. Schrute from The Office. So this this movie is awesome. I mean, you guys said it. I mean, for me, this movie came out in April of '93. They are finishing 5th grade, so they are 11 years old. So this movie came out when I was 11 years old. So I mean,
it's crazy
for me. And then seeing it with Dad, I mean, it's just dripping with nostalgia. I mean, that's everything you said. Like, it makes me think of childhood. Like Mike said, just early morning, just going. We went to Morgan Field.
Nice.
Where we would play, and just
love Morgan
rich
Field.
Kids.
You just moved to that point. I see. Whatever. I'm going to start ignoring you because I know. And you get to play for hours.
Much nicer than Morgan Field.
Oh yeah, it is. Of course
it is. Hours. Yeah, no, it isn't. And I mean, I remember like the days when it was super hot. Like we would, go to the town, like or go to something like whatever, just like figure it out. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it makes me think of just as corny, but like a simpler time when I was probably a million times happier.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Everything was easier and it was great. And this movie nails it. Like every scene is relatable to me. And like Mike said, and this is a classic. I know, Mike, you said with Airplane, is it a cult classic? Like, this is a classic, and I hope this is something that parents watch with their kids for like decades to come. And if there is ever a time where it's like not relatable for a parent to like, hey, let's put on Sandlot and watch for a kid, I assume I'll be dead, and I hope I am, because if that ever happens, like,
doomed if that's a thing.
You can't use this movie to bridge a gap between generations, because this is what it does. Like, this is Dad. When in '62 when the movie takes place, he's 9, but like this is all Dad did. Like, talk to Dad about being a kid. Like, he just played baseball constantly. Right. And when you talk to Dad about it, he's like, "Yep, yeah." Like, it was just like, so it's awesome. It gives you that feeling of just, oh, this is great. And initial thoughts is, it's amazing.
Dennis Leary, when they're first playing catch, him and the stepson or whatever, the son, when he gets hit in the eye, he smacks that steak on his eye pretty hard, doesn't he?
Yeah. See, and that's a 60s wife move, because she's just like, no, that's for dinner, and he still does it. See, in 2020, she'd be like, are you shitting me? You're going out and buying more steaks. You know that, right? In the 60s, though, she's like, I guess I'm not having steak tonight.
All right, I'll make that a stew. That's fine.
That is really good. And before he hits him in the eye, I love when he runs the ball over to him, and Dennis Leary's reaction, and then when he underhands it, and he doesn't get to him, and Dennis Leary he looks up as he's picking it up, and he's like, oh.
Did you notice he checks his watch? He checks his watch and looks down how much time am I wasting right now?
This is going to take a lot longer than 30 minutes.
Yeah. I thought he knew something, apparently. Blank canvas.
What did your father do with you? Nothing?
Also from that scene, I think it's funny that Dennis Leary knows that the kid doesn't know how to play baseball, and he's like, hey, you got to look out for the curve. The kid doesn't even know how to throw the ball back. You're chucking curveballs at him? What a dick.
So that's
what, 15 minutes?
That's my question. Does he throw it right at his face on purpose?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Based on the first interaction that you see between them, Dennis Leary's kind of a dick. Yeah. like high school bully, and then Smalls comes in, this little nerd. He's like, yeah, all right, kid.
I think that we saw 2 throws of that interaction, but I believe it was probably 10 minutes of that, and he was like, you know what? I'm just going to chuck this at your face. You don't catch it. What's down?
I have work to do. I'm done with this.
Deadlines. I got fucking deadlines.
Somebody's got to pay for that ridiculous hat you're wearing.
Oh, you got the hat. That's the funniest hat I've ever seen in my life.
I remember as kids, we used to always laugh at the fact that it always looked like it got larger. Every time they would shoot him, it always looked, it's like, how big is that hat now? It was originally ridiculous. Now it's just bigger. It's 3 times the size of your head.
Let me ask you this. After Benny and Smalls meet for the first time, they play whatever, how much stuff did Benny have in his pockets that day? He gave that.
He had enough for a whole other person.
And he almost forgot somehow.
He had so much stuff in there. It's like, here, take this glove. Oh, don't worry, I got that. It's cool. Get some money. A knife? I got a knife. Did you guys ever play with a kid like that? That shouldn't have been there? That one guy who you're like, ah, damn, and he couldn't catch it? Or he was dressed up in jeans and, sneakers instead of cleats and shorts, like that guy?
Not in the pickup game setting, all those times that we all knew how to play, but when a official sport season would start. Yeah, I definitely ran into a few kids who were I remember one kid came for football practice with his knee pads on his elbows. And because football, they're usually small little knee pads that slide into the pants, but whatever, due to budget cuts, we had just regular knee pads. You had to put them on, and he came with them on his elbow, and he got torn apart, and I didn't pile on, but I didn't help him either. So it was classic me. I'm not gonna be a dick, but I'm not gonna be awesome either. I'm just it's pretty bad. And I mean, eventually he got it, and he was actually a good player. But that initial wow, what is this person doing? Yeah, I've been there. It's bad.
Funny. He's the kid from Little Giants with the glasses.
The only experience I have with that did come in pickup game format, but it was right before basketball season, so everyone was playing in the old gym in the high school, and the one freshman came in wearing actual NBA jerseys, and he just not good at all. Like we did it for 3 days before a tryout started, and it was just like a Vince Carter jersey, like a Jason Kidd jersey, and each day like he just got shit on nonstop. It was real aggressive. Like way too much.
That's a tough one. That's hard to put. You gotta be able to back that up.
You do, and he could not. He could not. Surprisingly, the kid at Hackettstown playing basketball, the 5'2" white kid.
The basketball practice, I would always wear like Wizard of Oz t-shirts or something unassuming, Mary Poppins, something unassuming. So nobody knew. Yeah, the jersey to basketball practice is tough.
Yeah, no, that's very noticeable right away.
If you don't hit every shot, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You miss one, it's on. We'll let you go for the first 5 minutes. See what you got. You miss one layup, forget it. This day is over for you.
Especially with the no undershirt, plus you're like a freshman in high school, so you got like the chicken arms, you know? Like zero muscle definition. It's like not even an undershirt. It's bold. It's very bold.
The first clank you hear, everybody's like, guess that jersey's not helping us. And then that's it. The floodgates are opened. It's ready to go.
That is so true. And everyone had that comment like ready at the hip. Like,
yeah. Everyone was waiting.
I got it. That's me.
When who's gonna hit the go button?
Yeah, right.
And then it becomes the Wild West. They're like, go.
Yeah. Pandora does not go back in the box. Pandora really comes out of the box.
Were either of you ever the go button guy, the one who started it? Or were you always like the pile on, or were you like me, like this?
No,
like,
I was definitely like you. I just sat in the background. I was like, I'm not contributing to this, but I'm also not gonna condemn it and be like, oh, you can't do that. No, like this kid, he was gonna get his, but I wasn't gonna contribute to it, which is probably just as awful. But whatever, man. I was 15.
Absolutely. I was definitely the guy on the shoulder who was just like, somebody should say something. No, we should say something to him, shouldn't we? I mean, why is he wearing that? He's made one shot in like 4 hours. Say something.
It's like Kyle over there was talking shit. He just hadn't spoken up yet. Someone wants to do it. Maybe it should be you. That'd be pretty funny.
Say something. It'll start. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah. It's putting bad ideas in people's heads.
Yeah. Like I would give one guy the one. Like I would say that line. I'd be like, "I said that jersey didn't help too much, did it?"
He repeats it louder.
That jersey didn't help, did it? And like all over. See the Vince Carter, he sucks too.
Now the older kids start laughing, they catch on, and then it's just open season on the kid. It's awful. It's awful.
I hate high school.
High school can be brutal. That's why you got to stay neutral. That's why you got to stay neutral.
Be Switzerland.
It's the best place to be in high school. Honestly, you don't want to be on either side. You just don't want to be in the crossfire. Just stay away. Just stay away.
Right under the radar.
Exactly.
Under the radar. That's where the phrase started. You would think it was military, but no, it was going through high school.
Like, I'm okay if they ask somebody a question who's popular from our high school and they ask about me and he's like, I don't really remember that guy. Perfect.
I did it.
It's by design.
Yes, by design. I did my job. By design.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. So, get back into it. The Beast story that Squints tells is hilarious. I love that. Definitely heard that story. Not the Beast, but, something like that from
Sure.
You'd hang out. Oh, man. When he tells it, the way he tells it, it was so good. I loved it. They're like, he ate one Like, it's just so ridiculous. And how big the dog is in like the
It's massive.
so awesome. I love that part.
Yeah, when Mr. Myrtle puts the collar around him, and he's like eye level, and he's like, it's like, come on, it's a big.
He hands him a belt.
It's so good. Oh man, great stuff. The erector set stuff they were trying. They had a lot of really good plans, by the way, to get that ball back.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had that thing twice for sure.
Absolutely.
They just moved
when had the ball, it's just a quick flip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Done.
I love, by the way, I love his response when he comes. It's just like totally just done. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, they could have had that a few times.
They had the vacuum one down. They were done. They had it.
Yeah, they did.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Speaking of I love the first scene, or not the first scene, but the first time that Smalls is going to the Sandlot with them, and and he's like, he makes 9, and Yaya's like, yeah, so did my sister, but I didn't bring her in. And then he goes, so what, Yaya, you run like a duck, and you've never seen him run, but just looking at the kid, you're like, he probably does run like a duck. He doesn't look like the most coordinated person. Like, I instantly bought in. I was like, yeah, he probably does.
That's true.
So does my sister, but I didn't bring her.
It's a really good line.
It's a great line. So fun. Are you guys totally on board for any movie that has narration?
Yes, I'm a sucker for narration.
Every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I agree.
I'm like, oh, this movie's awesome. This person is interrupting my film watching experience, and I love it. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
No,
I will say the narration in this movie though is spot on.
Oh, it's great.
Good. So
yeah,
good.
it's really good.
No, I will say, like, I mean, a total sucker for it, but I think I can, like, pick out, like, when it's done well and when it's just, like, I like it either way, because like you said, Mike, it's narrated, it's got to be the greatest movie ever.
Exactly.
But, like,
it has to be important.
Exactly. Why else would they be fucking shit up? Like, obviously, it's important. But no, total sucker. But this one is good. Like, the guy they got for it was his voice is good, and I know that's ridiculous, but the voice is important. I mean, it is, and the timing of it in the movie is important. This one nails it. I mean, every time the narration comes over, you're like, "Yep, okay, tell me what you got."
The narration is perfect. I totally agree with that, PJ, and also the score or the soundtrack, just the way that they match the music up per scene is perfect. Like, every scene, the music for it just fits perfectly. Like, there's not one scene where it misses.
When Squints decides he's going to do his plan at the pool, worst dive from a lifeguard I've ever seen was from Pfefferkorn.
Yeah, pretty bad.
I don't think it was that bad.
Oh,
it was
awful.
terrible.
Legs spread. There was like a 2.2.
I mean, she's not trying to get
Flash.
the perfect 6s or 10s or whatever.
The
like,
German judge, a 1. There's no way she lets that go.
Yeah, I guess in PJ's defense, it's not so much for aesthetics; it's more of getting the job done.
Right. So also, I mean, look, when you look like that, you can dive however you want.
True.
What's that? Peppercorn. I call her Peppercorn.
Lotioning, oiling, lotioning. It's so good. I love Ham walking up to the pool. Oh, sexy. I laugh at that line literally every time I watch this movie. It is so over the top. Just walking past a group of like older ladies when you're like 11, 12 years old. Oh, sexy. It's like, oh, God. The ball's on you.
The 60s were a different time.
Evidently they were, but that line always gets me. I always repeat it and I always laugh at it.
Really I like Ham. Ham's character is amazing. He's great.
So good.
He's so funny. Catchers, I wrote down Catchers talking shit. I mean, he does it really well.
He does.
That just seems to be like every baseball movie's like one thing they're going to put into every one they make. It's always the catchers.
Sure.
And I guess that must happen all the time, right? You got to figure even in the major leagues. Like, catchers
you would hope so.
Right? Amazing.
Yeah. If my dog was as ugly as you, I'd tell him to shave its butt, walking backwards.
I like the first line he says when they're doing the game against the other team, and it's like perfect strike. He just laughs. He's like,
"That's fun."
He's just like, "What are we doing here?"
That's fun.
I literally just said I have to get home for lunch. We better start taking cuts. We're not feeling out counts here. We're not getting ahead. Somebody start swinging.
One. Here comes the heater.
Here comes the heater.
I love before they get there. One of the, like my favorite lines that I realized the past two watches I had was where they initially start the trash talk. And Ham goes, "Let's go right here, right now." And the kid responds, "Playing a real diamond porter." It's so good. You don't deserve to lick the dirt off our cleats.
Yeah, the other kid throws some good stuff.
He does. It was an evenly matched insult, a little back and forth there.
Is there a better combination of scenes than 4th of July and Ray Charles singing?
Awesome.
So good.
America.
Like
the beautiful.
Just there it is.
Yeah.
Blanked on that one. But I mean, when I see that scene, I don't. And when I mean a perfect match, I mean like ever. Like in a movie, like it is so spot on perfect that
it got me last night too, just because of everything we're dealing with right now and all that's going on. Like it actually put me on pause last night. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree. It really did for me as well. Like when I was like, oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
That was, that's a thing. American isn't.
It's as American as a scene as it gets. It's so good. It's so good. But then, since we're talking about it and we're kind of rattling them off, another reason why I thought that this movie is an instant classic is just once you get into this movie, it's just classic scene after classic scene. And this is in order. It goes the camp out, and this could be even starting late and ending early. So it goes camp out to the pool scene. Then it goes to the 4th of July. Then it goes to the trash talk scene, the pickup game, and then the carnival. All in a row. That's like each of those scenes is memorable in their own right. You remember something specific from each of those scenes, and it's just a solid 45 minutes of just right there in your face. This is how ridiculous this movie is.
Great call. I did not. I mean, every one of those scenes I love, but I didn't realize that they went back to back to back. Like that's great.
Yeah, and like they just segue into each other so perfectly.
Sure.
It's awesome. It's really like this was the one note that I had when I watched it Tuesday night that I didn't write down, but I was like, I'm definitely going to remember that when I rewatch it. And then rewatch, I was like, I still can't believe that's a stretch of scenes. It was still crazy to watch that. I was like, that's so well done.
That's amazing. That's a really good pickup. That's cool.
It is.
But I love the carnival scene. Obviously, Tequila playing in the background is pretty great. I love that scene. I think it's so good. I love how he almost forgot. It's like, you didn't almost forget, you knew.
Yeah.
I mean, you brought it with a purpose. You knew it was going to be a thing.
I like how well the kids acted out that scene.
It was really good.
Yeah, like make that sick face. I mean, hopefully they didn't know what that was really supposed to be like, but they did a really good job at that.
They did.
I completely agree. It makes me obviously I don't throw up, but it makes me a little upset. Like I watching. I'm like, oh, that seems unsettling.
Yeah,
it's just bad.
And I love how Smalls circles back to the shirt. If you ever like catch it, the undershirt is all stained in orange later in the movie, like it's been washed, but he's still wearing it.
I never caught that. Really?
Yeah. It's one of the scenes after they lose the Babe Ruth ball. But he's wearing it again, and just like right on his chest is like an orange stain. And he's
awesome.
wearing the white T-shirt he wore underneath.
That's a great.
So that was pretty cool.
That is good. I did not catch that.
But that carnival scene, so good, and that was kind of the last one that I put in like my stretch of scenes that are ridiculous. Which isn't to mention the fact that they go right into him, destroying the baseball, and then he steals the Babe Ruth ball. I just thought to end it there because it's kind of like by the time they get there, the friendship's already built, but all those scenes prior to are the friendship building, which I think is the true meat of the movie there.
And then kind of solidified with the saving the dog, right? They both lift up that thing together, and
very true.
That was pretty cool.
Scene still almost gets me. I don't cry, but it's a tough scene to watch.
It's a good scene.
It is a very good scene. Especially Smalls in that scene, where it's like someone help me, and everyone like kind of like leans back a little bit. And Benny steps up, Benny obviously just crushing it the whole movie as a friend.
When that dog kisses him, that dog's tongue is the size of his face. There's no way that wasn't the wettest thing in the world on his face.
It probably smelled like death.
I wonder how many times they shot that.
I
wonder if it was a one and done, or if he had to do it like 10 times.
I hope so. I hope Smalls' agent was like, nope, we're doing it one time. That's it. You're not going to drown my client. We're going to walk away from this.
That's the fact, Jack. That's the fact, Jack.
The pool scene was actually not a hot day at all for filming. It was 56 degrees out. They shot the pool scene, and when Squints is like his teeth are chattering on the diving board, that's him actually. He's cold as hell, and it's actually that cold.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
All right, let's get into a review of The Sandlot. Taylor, this is your pick, your movie. Go for it.
Okay. So this beer pairing with this movie was pretty perfect for me, because I'm gonna go right with what I did the beer at, which is a strong 4. I just think I think they're both so great in their own right, and I don't know. I think a strong 4 is just fair for both of them. I don't want to go over the top with it because I know there's people out there who don't love this movie or don't love this beer, so it kind of works out. I don't know. I think a strong 4 is perfect for it. It's great. I love the soundtrack. I love that stretch of scenes that are just iconic scene one after another. It's pretty great for me. Strong 4 I think is fair, but I'll hold off on the 5-star from it.
Gotcha. PJ, can I take it?
Go ahead.
Awesome. With my newfound reviewing technique and style, in my head, I want to give it a 5, but I look back at like the Karate Kid and other things I gave a 4, and I can't do it, so I apologize, but I'll give it a strong 4 as well. It's just a fun, great movie. Awesome to start the summer, like you said, Taylor. Great choice for the what is the start of baseball season. Sure. It felt good watching it. I watched it twice in the past couple of days, and it just felt good both times. It was awesome. It made me want to go out and, like you said, Taylor, again, just go out and play some baseball and hang out with some friends. And it's just a lot of fun. Like I said, I hope that people are still doing this. I hope kids are still going out and getting their friends and going and hanging out and doing some baseball stuff. And parents are still playing catch with their kids and stuff. So it's awesome. Strong 4. Love it. Watch it again. Got to pick up on the soundtrack because I obviously missed that. So I'm going to go back and check that out. But yeah, awesome. Great choice. Loved it. 4-star.
So our reviews are going to match because I'm going to give it a 5. So I'm going to be the Michael of the Stone review and give it a 5 because for me, the nostalgia bumps it up to a 5. As like if this movie was made and released in '93 with characters growing up in 1993, it's not nearly as good of a movie, right? It just doesn't translate, doesn't sell as well. It'd still be a good movie. It'd be like, oh, 3, it's like a fun kid movie. The fact that it is 1962, you have all that history, and you get to watch it with a parent, and again, like I said, like bridge that gap of just like generations and like being able to understand each other for like in a movie, you know, like it's, to me, that's amazing. And that makes it bumps up to a 5. I mean, I think, like Taylor said, the soundtrack good, story's great. I like the cast. Again, like Michael said and Taylor said, the acting, the child actors were good, and especially that last scene with I'm blanking. Someone help me.
James Earl Jones.
Thank you.
It's Earl Jones.
It's a great scene. Like, it's not just James Earl Jones like carrying the whole thing. You're like, oh, they got these 2 kids. Like, it's a great scene.
Yeah.
And overall, because of all that, and because I think it's classic, and hopefully it's something that will be watched for decades to come, and it will be relatable for decades, is what makes it a 5. So, 5-star.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. We hope you enjoyed our pairing of Stone IPA and the Sandlot. Please join us next time when we pair Sam Adams Summer Ale against the movie Caddyshack. Until then, cheers.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.